You know that moment when someone at work gives you advice you never asked for, and somehow you're the one who ends up feeling guilty? Today, I want to tell you something that's happened to me more than once, and maybe it's happened to you too, getting unsolicited advice at work. It's about invisible boundaries, social friction, and one sticky note that changed everything. You don't have to accept unsolicited advice quietly. You can respond, set boundaries, and preserve your agency. I'm 24, fresh out of university, working in an office that feels half startup, half corporate. My role is operations associate, which means I'm juggling spreadsheets, coordinating with teams, helping with procurement, and trying not to break anything. I'm currently quiet. I prefer doing my actual job to talking. So when people start giving me advice, especially advice I never asked for, I tense up inside. I used to just swallow it with a smile. But over time, I realized advice, even from well-meaning people, can feel like judgment. Act 1. The first sticky note. One Monday morning, I walked into the open plan office, coffee still warm, headphones in my bag. I slid into my cubicle, booted up my laptop. A few minutes later, I noticed something stuck to my monitor, a blue sticky note in neat handwriting. Hey, your spreadsheet looks messy. Maybe sort columns A to Z, use color codes. I can help if you want. I froze. My first thought, who did this? Was it a friendly suggestion? Was I being criticized in secret? I glanced around, no one met my gaze. The thing is, I was reorganizing that spreadsheet, but I hadn't thought about color coding yet, and I certainly didn't need someone else's help unsolicited. I peeled off the sticky, crumpled it, and threw it in my trash man. But the note lodged in my mind. It felt like a tiny jab, something that implied I'm not doing good enough work.
Flashback, past hints. This wasn't the first time I got stray advice. Over the past few weeks, my team lead, when passing by, said, you could try batching your emails. That's what I do. Saves time. A senior colleague popped by my desk and said, if I were you, I'd always keep a backup of those PDFs. You never know when the server crashes. At lunch, someone told me, you should meditate. I read this book, it changed everything. Each of those felt small, mild. None were terrible, but cumulatively they weighed. They implied, you're doing something wrong, and I'll fix it for you. Reading the Medium article, I realize now that's exactly what unsolicited advice does. It's a violation of boundaries. It signals, I think you have no idea what you're doing, so I'll tell you what to do. Sometimes advice comes from enthusiasm or the desire to help. Other times, it's about control or dominance. Anyway, the note was the spark. I decided I would respond, not in anger, but with intention.
Act 2. The response. That afternoon, I sat at my desk, my heart a bit heavier than usual. I opened Slack and messaged my team lead, a guy named Marcus. Hey Marcus, quick thing. I got a sticky note on my monitor about redoing my spreadsheet columns and color coding. Did that come from you or someone on the team? Within minutes, he hopped over. He looked a little surprised. Oh, that was me, he said. I saw your sheet last week and thought I could improve it. Didn't mean to upset you. He looked awkward, and I admit, I felt a tightness in my throat. I had to choose how to respond. I told him, thanks for saying. I appreciate the intention. But it catches me off guard when advice comes unasked. It feels like critiquing before I present my work. In future, I'd prefer you tell me in person or ask if I want help first. He nodded. Makes sense. Sorry, I'll tone it down and ask first. I felt relief. Small, but real. Act 3. Escalation and boundary testing. That same week, the sticky note episode had an echo. In the hallway, I bumped into another colleague, Fiona, on her way to a meeting. She paused, looked at me, and said, Hey Artem, I heard you're doing the monthly budget review. I've got some thoughts. Your template is okay, but I'd tweak this part, that part. Want me to drop by your desk later and show you? Her tone was neutral. Helpful, she meant. But the timing hit me wrong. I hadn't even asked for help. Before I could respond, she turned and walked off. I stood there, stunned. Inside, I felt that same prickly weight. I'm being judged quietly, publicly. I considered a few paths. Let it slide again. Accept help graciously, but then do my own thing. Draw a more assertive boundary. I chose 3. That afternoon, I drafted a Slack message. Hey Fiona, thanks for offering. I'd like to try my own approach first. If I get stuck, I'll reach out. Appreciate your offer though. She replied, cool, no worries. Just wanted to help. I felt good. I didn't reject her harshly. I simply set the tone I wanted. Act 4. The office meeting, the tipping point. 3 days later, the finance manager, Mr. Chen, called a surprise meeting. All of us in operations and finance gathered in the conference room. We were to update him on our monthly metrics. I stood up to present. My slides were lean, clean, data-driven. I walked him through the numbers, assumptions, expenses, projections. After I finished, there was a beat. And then Mr. Chen nodded and asked, great, but I think you should add a sensitivity analysis and color code risk levels, and maybe include a scenario where revenue drops 10%. Would you like me to help you build that? My heart sank. In front of everyone, he offered unsolicited advice and help. It felt like being told I'm missing something fundamental while I'm dark in the spotlight. Inside, I wanted to shrink, but outwardly, I kept my voice steady and said, thank you, Mr. Chen. That's a useful idea. I'd like to try adding the sensitivity section myself first. If I run into trouble, may I ask you to review it or help me? He paused, then replied, fair enough. I trust you to try, but I'll be around if you need me. Later, a coworker, Jaslyn, nudged me. I thought you handled that well. He could have embarrassed you, but you held the ground. I nodded, though inside I felt shaky.
Act 5. Reflection and change. After all that, I started paying attention to patterns. The note on my monitor was the most aggressive of the advice gestures because it bypassed relationship. The hallway advice from Fiona was more benign, but still intrusive. The public advice in the meeting was the most damaging emotionally because it aired my work when I wasn't ready for critique. I realized unsolicited advice often comes from good intentions or from people who feel their way to help is the only way. As the Medium article says, some people just wish to help you or see a moment and jump in with solutions. Others desire control. Advice becomes a subtle assertion of dominance. Also, giving unsolicited advice can reflect more about the giver than the receiver, about their need to feel needed, to feel important, or to assert superiority. From Reddit, many introverts say advice like that is draining. Unsolicited advice from other folks can be really draining and annoying. Through all this, I decided to change how I accept or reject advice. I started with a few rules. If someone gives me advice, I pause. I ask, was it asked? Is it relevant? I respond with gratitude first. Thanks for your input. Then I either accept it or politely decline. I'll try my own approach first and reach out if needed. When someone becomes persistent, I reassert. I'm comfortable with my plan for now. I found that doing this not only protected my emotional space, but also improved relationships. People respected the boundary when I said it clearly. Epilogue: What I learned for YouTube narration. Here are the lessons I carry now, and the ones I'd share with anyone who finds themselves drowning in unsolicited advice. 1. Advice is not always kindness. Even when someone means well, advice can imply you're not enough, or you need their help. That sting is real. The Reddit thread shows many people feel this. It seriously want to tell them to go, I can't stand them. 2. Boundaries matter. You have the right to receive help only when you ask for it. You don't owe explanations or justification for declining someone's advice. Check motives, theirs and yours. Sometimes advice is projection or control. Other times, we ourselves fall into giving it too readily. We want to feel useful. The Medium author notes a habit of giving unsolicited advice can signal, I think you have no idea what you're doing. 3. Respond, don't react. It's tempting to lash out, but a calm, firm boundary often works better. Like, thanks, but I've got a plan, or I'll ask you when I need help. 4. Don't internalize it. Rejecting advice doesn't mean rejecting you. You are still capable, valuable, and deserving of respect. 5.
ask first if you want to advise. If you catch yourself wanting to tell others what to do, ask, do you want me to help with ideas or just listen? That small check respects agency. I hope this story helps. It's not perfect, but maybe in it you see yourself or someone you know.